How books helped save my life. Books and I have been friends for a very long time. When I was about 11 I started keeping a journal. Sometimes I started an entry with Dear Diary, but eventually, it became Dear Journal. Sometimes it's Dear Lord because I write my prayers out better than I can pray them verbally or silently. With the kind of childhood I had, I sure needed an outlet. My journal was always a better friend to me than alcohol ever was. Writing continues to help me process my thoughts and feelings. So you see, the very first written words that I found comfort from were my own. Later on, I found comfort in the written words of others. I marched to the library to find out about anything that I was curious about. I used to ditch classes in middle school to hang out at the bookmobile with an older lady whose name was Mrs. Parks, I think. All I remember about her is that she was old and gray and she never told anyone that I wasn't going to school. I must have been in that little bookmobile that was parked in the lot of Safeway's grocery store, the day I found that divorce book for my mother. It was titled Living and Loving After Divorce by Catherine Napolitan and Victoria Pellegrino. Mom was going through her second divorce from my stepfather and she was so depressed she hardly left her bed for a while. He was a monster, so I always thought her grief came from feeling foolish rather than losing the man she loved. Anyway, she absolutely loved the book I chose for her and she had me read it to her almost daily at her bedside. That book validated her feelings somehow and brought her great comfort. Mom was a Christian who sought God's counsel, but she also yearned to hear the words of women who had lived through a divorce. She needed to know that she was not going to lose God's love or her salvation because she had divorced an abuser. I saw firsthand what a book could mean to someone. Today that book is all separated from where in a Ziploc somewhere in Mom's house. It's an out-of-print treasure of words that helped her get through some of the darkest days of her life. I was delivered from alcoholism by God's divine grace. Afterward, I had to find new ways of coping and new interest. Crafts have always been enjoyable to me, but I need more than that to train my thoughts and feed my soul. I started listening to audiobooks and reading books again. I didn't know how much I had missed them until I felt the thrill of learning and seeing things in a new perspective again. As much as I can, I am either listening to an audiobook or reading one. I choose Christian material and of course, the Bible is my number one book to read and reread. I feel better and my mind is not idle. I want others to find comfort from books just like I did and like my mother has. I started this blog to record everything I learn in my Christian walk, including what books I find helpful. Times have changed and we don't have to read only by candlelight in the night anymore. We can read with our ears while we drive or exercise now thanks to technology. I can't stress enough about the value and wonders of reading. In fact, we all have a story in us. If this blog touches only a handful of people, I will still feel I have served my purpose. Be blessed in Jesus' name.